Listeners be advised. The Soliloquy podcast discuss matters related to the human experience and many that are sexual in nature. Due to this, some conversations may surround triggering topics such as sexual violence, self harm, abuse, and much more. Please be advised a list of crisis and psychological resources will be available in the show notes of this episode. With that said, let's get started with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention please as we go through the following safety instructions.
In the event that there is a loss of cabin pressure, oxygen mask will drop from the overhead. Place the mask over your nose and mouth. Breathe normally as oxygen is flowing even if the mask is not inflated. Be sure to adjust your own mask before helping others.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Soliloquy podcast, where we step out and speak on sexuality. This is your favorite host, Vernon T. Scott, also known as Slaytor Jackson, and also known as, for you freaking motherfuckers out there, Sebastian Adams. On today's episode, we will be discussing no fats, no film, no old people, and I am blessed with the divine motherfucker himself, Devanin. How are you doing today?
Hey, bitch.
You're looking fabulous. The smile is smiling and looking gorgeous. I'm so grateful to have you with me on the Soliloquy podcast. And I'm just grateful that you had the time to be with us. Just before we even get into the nitty gritty of the conversation, do you mind introducing yourself? Oh, speaking of which, before I even get deep down into shit, because I know he probably gonna bring this up, and I don't know when the episode released. But y'all already know the conversation happened that I'm getting my plus size lingerie from this motherfucker, his shop, because he got the stuff that I need and that I want. So y'all bet his stuff is going to be in the fucking show notes already. But yeah, y'all just need to know that's where it's coming from. Do what you need to do, and just purchase from this motherfucker because he got the looks, and I'm here for it. Other than that, who are you, Devanin?
I'm going to give you the same answer God gave Moses from the burning bush. Bitch, I am that I am.
Ooh.
So on Mondays, I write music. On Tuesdays, I work on my own podcast, which is called Sex, Drugs, and Jesus. On Wednesdays, I work on the store you just referenced, which is DownUnder Apparel, which is a retail store with lingerie and sportswear for men, women, and everything in between, honey, and on the outside too. Then on Thursdays, I write books, bitch. So
Yes, and I'm reading one of those books, which is also named after your podcast, Sex, Drugs, and Jesus. And if y'all are out here purchasing, which you should be, okay, it is inflation and shit. Prices is high. But anyways, you still should be purchasing this motherfucker's products and everything that he does, because his book is great. I'm listening to it, meaning there's audio book. I'm also reading it, which means there's a print version. So y'all motherfuckers go ahead and get both. I love the engagement here.
oh, yes, I like to give people the options. Motherfuckers need options and choices and things during these troublous times. It might be inflation, but honey, I can meet you halfway.
Ain't it? Speaking of which, because we do need to get into this conversation, but we're not. What is your book about?
My book is well, it's a memoir. It covers the first 40 years of my life, and it goes from me getting the shit kicked out of me when I was a kid to getting the shit kicked out of me in the military during Don't Ask and Don't Tell, for me being thrown out of church for not being straight. Lakewood Church in Houston, Texas. Joel Osteen. I always like to call that nigga out on his bullshit because he ain't that nice behind closed doors.
Ooh.
And 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 then it covers, me becoming a drug dealer after I got kicked out of Lakewood and how I became homeless and getting HIV. Then we get into the road to recovery and climbing back up, from being a janitor to scrubbing the floors and shit and piss and all of that to doing all of those things I just told you, because now I am that I am.
Yes.
But before, I wasn't all that. It was like in the Bible, in the book of Ruth, we got Naomi. She's, she lost all this shit. When she came back to Jerusalem, she said, "Don't call me Naomi, call me Mara. I left out it full and I came back empty." That's how I was when I left Houston. I went there full, I had my church, I had my money and everything. When I left, I was on the Greyhound bus, and that's all I had to my name was the bus ticket.
Mm. Child, if y'all like a testimony, you better go ahead and get that damn book. That's all I'm saying. Look, I will say one thing. Was it Evangelist Nelson? She spoke the word for you. She spoke the word for you. I just came across that passage the other day, and I was like, "Oh, girl, yes, you better. I see you in your own business, and you." It took a long road, but I see that you're out here prospering as much as you can, and I love to see it.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that.
Yes, yes. Now to get into this topic of no fats, no film, no old people. First off, what are your thoughts about those that labeling or just that concept in general?
Well, all three can apply to me now. I'm about to be 40 years old in this December. But, sometimes when you're dealing with some of these little motherfuckers, online or whatever, they try to act like 40 is knocking against the grave and shit. And, they really need to sit down somewhere. I've struggled with weight all my life. It's been up and down. I've been as high as 250 pounds and as low as 127, And so I've had to deal with people telling me I'm too fat. I've had to deal with them telling me I'm too skinny. And then I'm not the most effeminate person, but I wouldn't run around calling myself masculine either. Mm-hmm. So I've had to deal with discrimination and ire from people. You're too girly, you're too big, you're too old, all of these things. Nothing to do with who I am.
Nobody, I think there's just like a lack of really wanting to figure out who a person really is, because that makes you have to reflect on yourself. Because when you realize that you're not trying to figure out who a person is, you have that reckoning that, oh shit, I'm shallow as fuck. I have no depth to me. I don't want to go anywhere that involves digging deep into anybody else's relationship, their history, anything like that, because I'm only focusing on myself.
Right. So, and people will say, look, I only want a surface level relationship. I want meaningless sex, whatever the fuck that's supposed to be. People will actually be like, I only want to go so far. Now, What's holding them back? Fear, trepidation, some sort of trauma from their past, that to be knowingly and willfully shallow. What are you really hiding from? What are you trying to stay safe from?
That's a good question. What really are you hiding from? Like, even when I think about myself and my history with like either hooking up with people or probably my sexual relationships or romantic relationships. I've always been that person willing to be open with other people and listen to them, understand them, allow them to be comfortable. And then you always get that barrier of, I'm not ready to go that deep, or I'm too afraid to go that deep. Why? Why are you so against allowing somebody to love you the way that you want to be loved?
And you see, that right there is what holds us back from fulfilling our lives, our destinies, our relationships, is fear. So many damn people are single or in and out of relationships. It's not that you're a bad kisser or you can't fuck right. It's because you have fear in your soul. And that's not a good vibration to be running around with. And that tends to close doors for you.
Child. Oh, I'm glad I'm not trying to close doors anytime soon. Well, there's some that do need to be closed because that what you anyways. So one of the things that we were discussing within our intake meeting was shame on dating apps, or even the feelings of shame while being on dating apps, and those three things that makes up the title of this topic are some things that I've seen so much on dating apps, even shame in terms of like bottom shaming or just shaming anything that may be presented as feminine versus acceptance of all things masculine, just shame in general.
Well, as we discussed on my show, and y'all, Vernon was on my show and it just released today. So you can
Oh,
jump
shit.
right on over there and catch, what he had to say and the tea he had to share. And we rebuked the bottom shaming in the name of Jesus, is what we did. We rebuked it. And when we taught all the little bottoms out there how to clean their assholes out and how to talk back to those, people who are trying to make them feel ashamed for getting shit on dicks, blood on dicks or whatever the hell might end up on there. So we fought against that shit. There be no shame.
Right. None at all. Like if you people should be welcome and just open to just the experience of it all when it comes to whoever you find attractive. It's like no one's saying that you have to be attracted to everybody for whatever reasons, because what is it, political correctness? No, not at all. But you don't have to present yourself in a way that you're just shaming everybody because you feel as though everyone fit that one category, that all fat people are smelly, or that they have small penises, or that they're messy people, whatever, or all femme people are just extremely extra and all that. It's never the case, because I know plenty of feminine people who are very chill, who don't like people who's all out and about and everything like that. The Holiloquy podcast focuses on the variability of sexual expression. When it comes to sexual expression, we often depend on pornography to illustrate how one must perform sexually. For those who have not learned this by now, the stuff you see in porn is not real. Pornography provides a singular perspective of sexual expression that is not often the reality we see during our own sexual encounters. The Holiloquy podcast is a conversation that takes you outside of the compressed box of what many know about sex. Some of the topics we discuss includes kinks, condom usage, status disclosure, and past sexual experiences. The Holiloquy podcast steps out on sexual norms and recognizes that the norm is not the only normal. Subscribe today and join the conversation. Feminine people who are very chill, who don't like people who's all out and about and everything like that. They just like to keep to themselves because that's what happens. People are a huge spectrum of identity. And a lot of people don't want to move past that concept of, okay, maybe somebody might actually break that norm.
My mind keeps going back, Vernon, to what's wrong with the person perpetrating the negativity. Mm-hmm. So when you don't want to, someone out there doesn't want to accept somebody for who they are, or at least be neutral about how someone is, you don't have to draw a negative conclusion. Mm-hmm. This is a reflection of what's abiding inside of that broken person. As I heard a wise woman say long ago, you can't give away what you don't have. And so if you are not happy, healthy, whole, and accepting of yourself, then you're inevitably going to go out there and find problems with all kinds of people. The issue is never going to be you. It's always he's too femme, she's too fat, they're too this, they're too that, but not me. I'm good to go. No, you can't find that many problems with that many different people and you be totally legit and cool. The devil is a liar.
And is. And that actually makes me think about another thing that we were talking about, and that's like the stigmatization of other people, where we make caricatures of other individuals that we just think this is who they're supposed to be. That can even be within sexual roles. Like, oh, all tops have to do this, all bottoms have to do that, all verse have to do that, all women have to do this, all men have to do that. And then we get to a point where it's all becomes a stigma whenever you do anything outside of that.
That's the way a lot of that's the way many people frame their life.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is relative to them as opposed to just everything exists in its own space.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing we share is the ground we walk on and the air we breathe and the sunlight and the moonlight. Most of your shit is within your own personal bubble, and things like that. So it's about perspective, and perspective, as you and I, Vernon, know, is everything. And so she's fat. Why does it have to be bad? She can be fat, but she don't have to be into it. You can be like, she's fat, not my thing, but go girl. But some people will go so far as to be like, okay, we're gonna have an orgy. Only the skinny people can come. No fat people can even be in the room. No black people can be in the room. No femme people can. It's like they're trying to put together the perfect porn scenario, where you got nothing but six packs and little bubble butts running around, and stuff like that. But where are we getting this framework from? Why do we think it, has pornography warped our minds? Where have we gotten this vain, shallow thinking from? Where's it coming from?
See, who you are leading this show, because the next thing that I was going to bring up is like the impact of media and how media really does impact our perceptions of reality, and how certain images that we see, we often portray as being negative because it's often seen as such. Like, even outside of media, the way that we've been raised by our parents. Like, I remember growing up learning that big people are always jolly because, you got St. Nicholas, Santa Claus, whatever you want to call the motherfucker. He's a fat, jolly man. So every big person is a fat, jolly man, like fucking Santa Claus. Fuck that motherfucker. I don't know that nigga. Like, but like, for real, like, when you think about media perception of how you should express yourself sexually, there's always that one, like, I don't like I can do rough sex if I'm feeling rough sex, but I can't watch rough sex porn because it just looks so violent. And that's something that a lot of people feed into. That's something that a lot of people watch because they think that, oh, this is what sex is supposed to look like. This is what sex is supposed to be. So I might as well have my sex like that.
Right. And so what happens in that situation is, because you and I both have very diverse sexual backgrounds, men, women, and all of it. So you get, like, say, girls who feel like the guy's supposed to pound them to death like that, and so she's afraid to tell him not to. You get guys who think, whether he's fucking a guy or girl or transsexual person or whatever, he's thinking the only way he's supposed to fuck is the jackhammer way. And so then now he doesn't understand that all he has to do is ask her, how would you like me to fuck you? It's really just that simple. We're willing to stick our dicks in everything and take dick from everywhere, but we're having all this sex and we're not actually talking about what we're doing, what we like, why we don't like it. There's not enough. And I did it too. I had sex with all kinds of guys for years, and there really was never a conversation of what actually pleases me. Do we fucking know what actually pleases us? Can we communicate it? We can do so much sex, but we can't actually vocalize what we're doing.
See, you struck a nerve on that one, because the thing that really bothers me, because, like, a person like me, I know what pleases me, and I will tell you exactly every single thing that pleases me, but would you do it? That's been the issue that I've come across when it comes to, like, hookups, and even within a previous relationship, of vocalizing, okay, this is the things that really please me, but the follow through of it, that's the issue, because a lot of people tend to think that they know best of what you know about your own body.
That's because they've been too mind fucked by what they think they know. Now, my boyfriend and I had that same problem. I was telling him, I don't necessarily have to come in order to get sexual gratification out of the
Mm.
experience as long as he comes, because I'm a big cum whore and I fetishize cum and I like having nut busted all down up in my asshole. It is very erotic for me.
You gotta pause because uh like not like earlier on in this damn season, I said there are such thing as cum guzzling whores. This is who I was talking. I wasn't really talking about him, but his people. These are the people I was talking about. Cum guzzling whores. Okay, I was not being offensive. He's a cum guzzling whore.
It do be facts though. It do be facts though. So, and there would be no shame for the cum guzzling whores. If you like a good asshole full of cum, then it is what it is. And look, cum and hoes only became taboo in the last century when condoms came around. Until then, everyone was fucking raw and putting cum and hoes where it belongs. I'm just getting back to the way God intended. So
Getting back to the roots.
back to the roots. All the way back to Africa, bitch, you know.
I'm so done. But look, I'm still against it, but you got you. No shade. I support. I don't know. I just have. Mm-mm.
So I'm telling him that I don't need that, but he's telling me that he doesn't feel like he's did the job or the top or whatever, you know, if I don't come. I'm like, well, where did you get that understanding from? Who in the hell told you
Mm.
that, you know, you didn't do a good job unless the woman's screaming, all over the place, you know, and coming and squirting all up against the wall. Maybe that's not what that individual woman wants. So it is unfair to people who like to insert their dicks in people, to go at whoever this person who's allowing you to put their dick in you, to place upon them your expectation of what you think is going to make them happy. Because really it's a selfish thing for the dick holder to do, the dick wielder to do, because it's ultimately about his fucking ego. You know, you don't want to walk away from the experience feeling inadequate, therefore you expect a certain reaction from the person who you're penetrating. You see, all that thinking is about him. It is time for him to stop thinking just about himself.
So somebody better take that message with them as it relates to their relationship. And this is going off of an article that I read recently that was talking about the expectations of sex. And I've been saying this to multiple sex partners for years. And I was just happy for the validation in that. And that is just going to sex with no expectations of any outcome. Because when you do walk into the bedroom or couch, wherever you fucking these days, like it is what it is. Fuck where you want to fuck. But like whenever you are engaging in sex, if you're expecting to hear certain sounds and those don't come up, you're going to feel as though that you're not doing what you need to be doing. Or if you expect that every single partner is going to squirt or bust, whatever it is, and it doesn't happen, you're going to feel as though that you did not meet the expectations. But that's the expectation you set for yourself for unrealistic situations that you think is going to represent every single sexual encounter, which is not the case. Like even the other day, I was texting somebody who I was planning on meeting up with, who lives in Atlanta, and I'm just like, you know what? If I'm ever in the city, we're pulling up, and I just asked, you know, what are you into sexually? And they were just like, well, you know, I'm just into the typical things. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? I need to know. And then that came up to the point where I just got to a point and I was like, look, everybody expresses themselves differently when it comes to sexuality, and that's cool. I just want to know what you like so I can see what our mutual likes are. If you want to, you know, want a lead on that, I don't mind informing you of what my sexual interests are, what my dislikes are, what my likes are, and we go from there and see what you like within that. But a lot of people just don't really fathom that concept that there is a full spectrum of sexual expression out there.
Well, a lot of people haven't experienced the full spectrum of sexual expression because the thing about these apps and rapid fire hooking up, you tend to do kind of the same things, just with many different people. And
Mm,
like I was explaining to my boyfriend when we got together, and he was going through his whole phase, which I had already, expired mine. But I explained to him that you get over it at some point, you really do.
mm-hmm,
And so I explained to him there's only so much time in a day. So if you're fucking 3 to 6 different people a week, okay, and I've done that much sex before, I'm either gonna have many different sexual partners and do the same shit, or get with one person and experiment with a wider spectrum. You have to stay with one person long enough to get comfortable to do some things. Some things require a lot of trust when you get in the ropes, the handcuffs, and different kinks and BDSM. You're probably not gonna do that with Joy Boy 69 from Grinder on night one. Let him put you in handcuffs, and tie you up to his bed.
mm,
So you're gonna
right.
end up doing your same doggy style, your same blowjobs, and maybe some slight variations, and you're gonna go home and then go do the same thing with somebody else the next day. Also, those apps, and I've been told that shit too. It allows people to hide behind them. But a lot of people don't have enough self-esteem to look you in the eye and say, "This is what I want." A lot of people, that's why people throw their hate and their shade, from those private profiles with no picture. They go on there just to troll and be mean to people, because it's a place where people can go and fester in their insecurities, their low self-esteem, and their negativity with no accountability.
Mm. Child, not that you knew you brought up the private profiles and then the hate, and now I'm thinking about all the child hate that I've gotten over the years from random accounts that I never even introduced myself to. It's like even those people who might just randomly send a dick pic and you're just like, okay, I was not expecting this. Or if you don't respond like, oh my God, that's nice, you get upset. No one asked you to enter into my space. No one invited you into my space. And you think that I owe you something because you sent me a dick pic, an asshole pic, which I never want to see. Some ass pics I might want to see, some of them, not all of them. But nobody asked you to be here. Like, what made you feel as though that you had enough power, other than audacity, sometimes caucasity, to come into my space and think I owe you one motherfucking thing in this life?
oh, the caucasity. That reminds me, this is a little bit off topic, but I was in Buckhead, Georgia last week, hanging out with my boyfriend's mom at the new Woodhouse Spa that they opened just north of Atlanta, and we were in the VIP suite in the back, and she's black and I'm black, and there was this white woman who was there out in the basic bitch area, in the non-VIP area.
The basic bitch area.
So, well, she acted like a basic bitch after I left. Let me tell you what the bitch did.
Ooh.
I went to go get my treatments and everything. And so it was reported to me that this white woman flung open the doors to the VIP in order to see what we were doing back there after I left. Now, my boyfriend's mom is very soft spoken. She's not going to mess with anybody unless they mess with her husband or her children. That's the only things that will make her come out of character. Me? See, the Caucasians know who they can pull that shit on and who they can't. This bitch knew if she would have even thought about that shit, I would have slapped her back to Europe she came from.
Ooh,
That's that
Europe,
capacity. Back to Europe, bitch. And then it reminded me when I was in California, going to Six Flags, this fucking white lady, these Latina teenage girls walked up to be with their friends, Alana, whatever. People do this shit at theme parks, so just get over it. People would just have friends and shit. This white woman went and grabbed these teenage girls by the elbows to try to pull them out of line. She got her white ass cussed out. Okay, and checked is what happened. Now, let that had been 2 white people in the VIP suite at the Woodhouse, and then somebody black flung the door open trying to see what was going on. Or let that been a black person who would have grabbed, or even a Latina person who would have grabbed a white person and dragged them out of line. Yeah, that caucasity is a motherfucker, and I'm tired of the shit.
child, that's one hell of a drug. I just want to know how much are they snorting? Because that's a drug that needs to be on sale. Because look, I don't do too many drugs other than alcohol, but I might snort a little bit of caucasity every now and again. Look, if it could get me out of a parking ticket. Like, that's all I'm saying. Give me
If
some
it can
higher
keep you from,
pay.
if
What
it
you
can
say?
keep you from getting shot, if it can keep you from getting shot in the back while you're running through your neighborhood.
Amen. Amen. I snort every fucking day. Like, look, I got that Caucasian on the low. What's up? What's up? Got an 8 ball for you, motherfucker. What you trying to do?
A teener.
Oh my God. Somebody's just you. No, no, no. I'm not going to put that in that atmosphere. Another thing, going back on topic, that we discuss is the concept of being fit, and just how there's so much variability in the meaning of it, but kind of piggybacking off of the media, but the expectation of what fit looks like has become stigmatized, standardized, and all this other stuff. And For myself, I see the negative implications most definitely on the mental aspect for having a defined fitness. But what's your views on the concept of being fit?
The spirit is telling me in this moment that true fitness is internal in two ways, like spiritually,
Mm-hmm.
okay, mentally, emotionally, all of those things, and also medically. When, like, say you go to the doctor and he gives you a positive bill of health. Because, see, here's the thing, that's true fitness. When you got your mind together, your blood work is together, your glucose levels are down, your vitamin levels. I'm talking about true fitness, the type of fitness that can make you live longer. You can have a physically fit body with a six pack and eight pack and all of that and have every damn disease in the world and be knocking on death's door, even though you don't look it.
Mm.
Or as my evangelist Nelson used to tell me when I was a hoe, she was like, you don't know what's living inside all them pretty bodies.
Mm.
Oh, so that's true fitness. Shallow fitness means chiseled jawline, bubble bud, the shit you've been mind fucked to think. But I don't value that. True fitness is what I just explained to you.
Mm. See, that makes me think about, like, when it comes to relationships and attractiveness, and even to go back to what we were talking about earlier about having relationships that are not so shallow, or just being a person who's not so shallow. When you're not focusing so much on the physical appearance and really try to get to know a person on a deeper level, regardless of what they look like or what society might think of them based off of what they look like. If you just find that person attractive, visually appealing to you, go for it. Get to know them on a deeper level, because society's not going to be in your bedroom. Your best friend shouldn't be in your bedroom unless y'all got that kind of relationship. Do you? I don't care. But what other people think about what the fuck is going on with your relationship doesn't matter. I will forever say, don't worry about what the fuck is going on in my bedroom unless you're trying to come up in this shit.
I think secretly a lot of people do want to be in other people's bedrooms.
Mm.
But rather than just say that, it comes out all the wrong ways, all the wrong times, and all the wrong places.
Child, ooh, that's intriguing. That's an interesting thought. Well, podcast listeners, if y'all feel like if y'all know y'all want to be in one of your friends' bedrooms, let me know. Don't tell me exactly which friend it is, but I just want to know if you're trying to be in your friend's bedroom. Like, give us the fucking tea. Do you want to be in any of your friends' bedrooms?
There are exactly two men who are friends, who are married to females that I know, who I wouldn't mind having around with. And they might have open relationships too, but they moved away from here. So it's not like I can really pursue that or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's like casual. I'm not really the pursuer though. I like to be pursued by men because this pussy is too tight and too right.
Oh God, that word.
Okay. For me to be trying to just, force it upon a man. No. I
Mm.
like to just bat my eyes and wink and show a little tit, and he got to do the rest.
I respect that. I respect that. low key with you. I don't do too much chasing. I'm a firm believer that I'm allergic to running already. And a lot of people asking, what does that mean? I break out in sweats, I get heavier breath. That sounds like an allergic reaction to me. Is it not? Is that not a symptom of an allergic reaction?
The motherfucking side effects.
The side effects, look. I'm allergic to running, so I'm not chasing the motherfucker. You try to make me sick, it ain't happening.
Oh.
Oh God. So I will say this will be a great time to transition into my never have I ever segment. But for you, it's going to be mostly sex questions and would you rather, because I feel like everything in this never have I ever you've done. So it's like, no. Actually, I might do one. I'm going to do one. All right.
Do me however you want to.
Ooh, all right now. Stop my some of my fans are already trying to expect a show going on, but the nasty hoes, I support y'all. Now, never have I ever had pity sex with someone.
Oh, sure I have.
I know I have.
And I did that the night that I met a man who had literally a 1-inch dick and he had to wear a tuxedo condom. And it was bizarre because I was dick, getting dick around town. So I had just left the man with like a 12, 14-inch dick, just getting dug out from my life. And so I go over to his house and he answers the door in his silk bathrobe, like he's the king of the jungle. And he took that robe off and all he had was, Micropeen does exist. That is the only time in my life that I have seen one. And I went on ahead and laid back and spread my legs open and let him fuck me until he came. And I was just so impressed with his high self-esteem that I'm still in shock to this day. And that's been a good 20 years ago.
Well, I support you, Mr. Micropenis. Look, I love it for you. You better be proud. I support you in your cause. I've had pity sex before. And I kind of did feel bad afterwards because it was just, I felt like I used that person. And I only felt that way because the sex wasn't good. And I was expecting for a little bit more. I won't say it was a micro penis situation. I've had smaller that was a lot more enjoyable. So it was just, I just was like, you came over here. I'm sure that 30-minute drive had high expectations for you, and I kind of want to commit because you're a cute person. You're very cute, and I will give it a try. I don't want to hurt your self-esteem in this moment. But now a nigga that exists today, if this mofo hit me up, it was just like, no, fam. Like if you want to suck on a titty, we can do that. Jerk off, we can do that. But the fucking side of things is just not going to. If it don't fit, if the glove don't fit, you must acquit, as they say. And I'm acquitting motherfuckers out here. You're not getting locked up. Not with this one. Now, would you rather?
Gavel has been banged.
Oh God. So would you rather mistakenly send a dirty text message to your boss or mistakenly send a dirty text message to your mom? Oh, that's depressing.
Let me say I don't have a boss anymore, but I suppose I would have rather sent it to my bosses that I've had before because I wanted to fuck many of them. So I could have got some dick out of it.
For me, I'm slick on the boss side of things too, not because I was attracted to my former bosses, but it almost happened one night. I was like super drunk and I already don't send nudes. But I was about to text something nasty to somebody, kind of one of those pull the fuck up, I'm waiting on you kind of things. And I had to double check and I was like, oh, this is the wrong person. We not trying to see you tonight. I don't want to see you during 9 to 5. I don't want to see you afterwards. So yeah, that almost happened.
Yeah, we do need to get the right person.
I always get the right person. Double check, y'all. Double check. Always double check. So, a sex question that I just pulled. What hotspot other than down there excites you the most?
Nipples.
Nipples? Oh, you're a nipples guy?
Yeah, and I showed them to you when you were on my show. I guess you need a reminder.
Now he's showing me his nipples again, everybody. He's rubbing himself. Now he's shaking side to side. I'm done. Oh, speaking of which, as he mentioned before, that episode's up. Y'all motherfuckers might as well go watch it so y'all can see his nipples as well, so y'all can enjoy it. Love the nipples, y'all. Love the nipples. I will say for me, it's my ears. If you are sucking on my ears, licking them, I don't care what it is that you're doing over there. Oh, you got me. You got me. We fucking after this. It's it's happening. I don't care. It's happening. I'm already turned on. You had me at the whisper. Like, I should try having sex to the whisper song. Now I think about it. I never tried that. That would be interesting.
You will add it to the bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
The bucket.
Well, I would say that is pretty much the episode. So, Devanin, do you have any last words that you would like to share with the audience? Any tips, tricks, anything like that?
I would say as this world, is entering a very intense time of transition, just to remember, and I'll quote words from one of my favorite David Cos songs, as long as you are breathing, you can start all over again. So don't be afraid of a brand new day.
I like that a lot. Not what about another thing? Don't forget, plug your shit so everybody will know where to follow you. If you are on social media, I know you follow me today on the IGs. If you want to share that info too, but whatever you want to share, let people know how they can support you. Again, purchase his shit from his shop because the shit is looking great over there, and also get his book.
I keep all my call to actions really simple. Just sexdrugsandjesus.com. That's where everything is, all the social media, my blog, the books I write. There's even a link to DownUnder Apparel at the bottom of the page under my recommendations. Strictly speaking, it's downunderapparel.com, but sexdrugsandjesus.com, has everything in it. And the book comes in ebook, paperback, hardcover, audiobook. And there's a link on there on the website, and you can buy it in other formats. I mean, from other vendors. So if you hate Amazon, it's not just at Amazon. It's at many different vendors, but through the website, you can pick the exact vendor and the exact format that'll take you right to it and everything. So, I'm an easy hoe. Just sexdrugsandjesus.com. I don't have time for these complications.
I support. Well, on that note, thank you so much for being on the podcast, Devanin, and I really do appreciate it. Love you so much. Cannot wait for our next episode, which is going to be about STIs, motherfuckers. Yes, we have another one of those coming up. Y'all better be learning. You better be fucking learning. If not, assume the motherfucking position. I said what I said. All right. On that note, thank you all so much for listening to the Soliloquy podcast, where we step out and speak about sexuality. Just in case no one else told you this today, you are beautiful. You are worthy of happiness and joy. You are enough and then some. You may not live up to the expectations of others, but that is okay. You are only required to walk in your own shoes. May each day you live lead you towards abundance. With that said, love you all and see you next episode. Thank you for listening to the Soliloquy podcast, where we step out and speak on sexuality. You can subscribe to the podcast through your favorite podcasting app and find us on the web at www.soliloquy.com. That's www.heauxliloquy.com. Share the podcast with your friends and join the conversation.